All right, the second and final game that I will be going through today will go down on Wednesday. That is Tottenham Hotspur hosting RB Leipzig. We've talked a lot about RB Leipzig throughout these last few weeks. They are one of VMFC's favorites to watch. As often as I get a chance to watch them play, I am there in front of the TV. They are just so much fun to watch. So it's going to be fun to watch them this week. But Tottenham is still a massive question mark, and even though I just watched them this morning, I'm recording on Sunday night. Even though I watched them this morning win off of a mistake from Aston Villa's defense, but they still won. They were there and they were attacking. They were looking for the opportunities. They were going to win regardless. That's just my way of seeing it. They're still just a big question mark. We don't know who they are still. We still don't know if they want to park the bus or if they want to attack. Mourinho might not have the players that he's looking for. He might have got some help in the January transfer window, which I think that overall, I'll say it again, the January transfer window was successful for Tottenham Hotspur, but not to the point where they will be elevated to maybe playing a Champions League final again. But again, it's really not Jose Mourinho's fault that he arrived in November. He took the job. It is what it is. He knew what he was getting himself into. RB Leipzig, we do know a little bit more about. We know the style or the styles that they have. But we know that they can turn it up. We know that they defend well. They're dangerous on the counter. Excuse me. We know what they are. Tottenham Hotspur, we're trying to figure out. Tottenham does have one big advantage, though. And I just mentioned it a few seconds ago. Tottenham Hotspur has the advantage of experience. They have been here. They have done that. And not too long ago, they did this last year. They went all the way to the Champions League final last year. They didn't win it, and they looked terrible in the actual final, but they were there. And they beat teams that were likely to be in the final. They didn't just beat any scrubs. They beat teams that were favorites. So they've been there and they've done that. Not only have the players been there, done that, but the coach has been there and done that. RB Leipzig, they've never even been to a direct elimination game in the Champions League. So there we are looking at a big disadvantage between Tottenham and RB Leipzig. Storylines for this game. Jose Mourinho's ability to manage these types of games. For him, if he can scrape out a 1-0 win at home, he'll be happy. He will be thrilled. And by thrilled, I mean, I think we got a very good result, and I think we will go back in 3 weeks, and I think we will win, and I think we are a very good team. That is Jose Mourinho being happy, and a very terrible impression of Jose Mourinho. Sir, I have failed you. I am so sorry. Jose Mourinho knows how to manage these games. Jose Mourinho is very good at putting these games in perspective for his players and telling them, this is what we have to do. We cannot get out of our game plan. We have to stick to our game plan, and this is how we will win. He knows how to convince his players. Another storyline that I'm looking out for is RB Leipzig's youth. They have a very youthful team, but it is really... It really depends how you look at it, because youthful teams, young teams tend to either play with no pressure, play free, play loose, or they tend to play with a lot of anxiety. They tend to play with a lot of nerves and a lot of uncertainty because they've never done that. They've never had that experience. Of course, you have to experience it at some point. You have to gain this experience at some point. I think this might be it for RB Leipzig. This is where they gain the experience of playing such an important game, which is a Champions League round. Well, 2 games. Champions League round of 16. The keys for this game, I think that Mourinho, I think that Mourinho is going to be one of the big keys for Tottenham. It all depends on the game plan. How is this team going to play? How is Tottenham going to control the midfield? How will they defend against RB Leipzig's incredible attack? And how will they attack RB Leipzig's very solid defense? It's all up to Jose Mourinho. What does he have dialed up? This is where you show your better game plans. This is where you show your experience. Another key is the opposing manager, Julian Nagelsmann. You guys know my love for him. What type of game will he try to plan? What type of game will his team try to play? That is what I tried to say. I can't speak. We all know that he has an extraordinary ability to be flexible with his tactics. He can play with a backline of 5, a backline of 3, a backline of 4. He can play with 2 strikers. He can play with 1. It doesn't matter. He is flexible. He knows that that one game plan, sticking to one game plan, isn't necessarily the best case for these types of games. One style, you can have an overall idea of what your style is, but you can modify it. It doesn't have to be set in stone, one type of style. This is how we do it, and that's it. Very few teams in sports have been able to get away with that type of stuff. And Julian Nagelsmann knows that if he were to marry one style of football, then he's asked out. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this incredible soccer mind will work in this scenario, in this situation that is a Champions League direct elimination game. This is just a fascinating game in all aspects. In every single aspect. Defensively, attacking, counterattacking, the managers, the storylines, everything. It's so interesting. I really see either team advancing. It sounds like a cop-out answer, I know. Either team can get the job done. But for this first leg, I think it's going to be a low-scoring draw. It could even be a scoreless draw. But to make it a little bit more clear, I think that this game is going to end 1-1 in London. It's going to end 1-1. Lucas is probably going to score a goal, and Timo Werner is going to score another one because he's just that freaking good. And after, of course, they play that game on Wednesday and they tie, according to my prediction, it'll be decided in Leipzig in 3 weeks. All right, guys. I made 2 predictions. For this game. Now I got to make 2 more. The games that I didn't mention, and that is Atletico, Madrid, Liverpool, and Atalanta against Valencia. I think that Liverpool absolutely obliterates Atletico Madrid. By obliterates, I mean that they just dominate. I can see this game being 3-1. Liverpool just completely, utterly dominating a lifeless Atletico Madrid who's won 1 game out of 7, out of their last 7. I think this is probably the time where Atletico Madrid fans have their eyes open to reality and they say, wow, we just got completely exposed on a world stage and our coach had no response. Liverpool wins against Atletico Madrid. And the other one, Atalanta and Valencia. I'll be honest, I haven't followed either team this season, but I do have to say that I feel like it's gonna be such a good game. It's one of those games that we're like, who against who? I don't think I'm gonna watch, but you probably should. And I feel like Atalanta's gonna edge out Valencia by about a goal. So the only draw that I see in these first few games is between Tottenham and RB Leipzig. My picks are going to be on the Instagram at Veterans Minimum. I'm going to post that graphic, or that graphic's going to be posted, and you guys can take a look at my picks and keep score for me, because I'm probably going to go 0 for 4 That's what happens when I start picking stuff. But the Champions League is finally back. I'm so happy.